Ooh, it's the BJ show, whoa, whoa. It's not your average show, whoa, whoa. It's just an intro for a show about a BJ and he's got a show. Where's the intro? Yeah. Today, for episode number 2 of the BJ show, we have someone that, one, isn't deaf, can hear me, and have legible conversations. His name is Mike Acre. He went to high school with me. We recently started hanging out after, I think in high school we were on the wrestling team together. But to give some context, the beginning of this conversation that was cut off in the recording, we were talking about different cryptocurrencies and investing, and I believe talking about the recent fork that Litecoin had, splitting off into Litecoin Cash, I believe it is. Just to give you a little preview, there's a little bit of talk of Tide Pods, which I know is everybody's favorite topic. Got a little bit of history talk as well, maybe some religion, all the good stuff. And without further ado, here's Mike Acre.
Do I wait a week? Do I wait a month? 6 months? Like, what do I do here?
Well, you just wait until you figure it's gone down enough. It could be a couple days. It could be 2 hours. Who knows?
True. That's like, so I have to take my Litecoin that I have in Coinbase and transfer it over to its own Litecoin wallet thing to actually receive it.
And then, so what'll happen is you'll get your Litecoin keys. You'll have your keys now. It'll be files, so you'll have your own codes or whatever that you can use to now go to any wallet or any other computer. And if you had your keys, you could log into your wallet. So what you basically do is log in with your keys from Litecoin into Litecoin Cash's wallet. It'll allow you to do it because they're mirroring it. They're making a copy of the blockchain.
So
they're making a copy of the blockchain.
They're
making a copy of the blockchain and changing the source code.
But I'm not losing your Litecoin.
You're not losing any of your Litecoin. They're just giving you
a copy and putting it on this platform.
They're giving you free Litecoin Cash. So that's the thing, is like you're creating this whole second entity. So that's why the value is kind of going to fluctuate. Like you would imagine that Litecoin's value is going to go up prior to the first coin because people are going to want to get that Litecoin Cash. And then when Litecoin Cash comes on, because this exists, the value of Litecoin has to come down a little bit, or it should, just a little. Because technically they should kind of balance each other out in the long run. Just like every time someone forks off Bitcoin, the amount of network they steal from them is hurting Bitcoin. Which is why like forks are it's almost a bad thing to do these forks because it just separates people. Because all it is like the guys at Litecoin, they want to implement.
They just want to speed up like transaction times and shit like that, right? But they said Litecoin hasn't even got to that point. It was kind of a mystery for them to even do it at this point.
They're working off the same source code, so it's like they can make the same updates now, but it's all a question of scale, right? Because it's a lot easier to make a couple changes and then just like launch this brand new coin than to make changes to this huge network where you have billions of dollars invested in all of these millions of computers and all of these people involved. Versus just like, oh, well, you guys aren't moving fast enough. I'm going to start my own thing.
Yeah.
Well, now they have to build. What are they going to build? Their all new thing all on their own.
And it's not the original development team either.
Exactly. Well, it's a split off because it could be part of the team splitting off because there was a disagreement.
Like, I think it was like absolutely none of the members were like
for Litecoin Cash. Yeah, no, it seems really bullshitty. From what I was reading about it.
That's everything you say.
And it's one of those too because it's like. We're giving you 100 to 1. Like that's another thing to kind of sucker people in that have no idea what they're doing. So they're thinking they're going to get 100 Litecoin Cashes, for every one Litecoin they have.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Well, the value of a Litecoin Cash is just going to be equivalently lower. It'll be 100 times lower than a Litecoin. So,
So I think the number that they said, are we recording right now?
Now it's recording.
Oh, okay. It was, I think the number was 10 to 1. So you're giving the equivalent amount, so like...
Oh, was it 10 to 1? Yeah. It was 10 to 1 or 100.
Because I think I have a little over 2 Litecoin, so you're looking at like...
20.
So 20 of those. But it's the equivalent value of what Litecoin is right now. So is it in essence doubling the money that you have?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the Litecoin Cash, when it comes out, is probably only going to be worth like So if it's 10, it'll probably be worth like maybe $10 per, not even.
Yeah.
Because the value of those things has to do with people who are going to pay into it. First off, I mean, it's going to come out. It's not going to be in any of the networks.
Yeah.
I don't know how many other people are going to be running this. How many miners are you going to be running the software? Because all in all, like if you don't have enough computers, enough miners running the software to keep this thing alive, it could easily just get taken over, hacked, destroyed, whatever. Because the power comes in when you start building more and more computers.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty. Like some of the numbers, like when it breaks down after Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's not as many miners as you think there should be.
Well, that's all right. So the way I kind of think of it, and I know you probably don't, is in essence a stock, but you kind of want it to be more like, or what a lot of these guys want it to be, is just like the new currency that takes over. And is there a profit in that? Like, what do they get for creating this new currency? Like, say Bitcoin ends up replacing the dollar, that kind of a thing. Like, what do they get out of that? Everything just transfers over from the dollar. Does that create...
What does the Bitcoin creators get out of it, you mean?
Yeah. Or just people that are investing in it. Coming from a place of absolutely knowing nothing about investing until like a month ago.
So the value of the investors is they already have some of this Bitcoin and they want more people to buy into their network, and then they'll hopefully sell it for more and more money. So the reason the price goes up is because there's more people wanting to buy into it than sell into it. So it's like, well, I'm not selling mine, but I will. So it's like right now, what do you value Bitcoin at? What do you think it could potentially be worth? Just having no idea about anything, from what you've heard, you think in 10 years it's probably going to be worth what? 5 years, let's say. 5 years more realistic.
I have no fucking idea.
You had to guess.
No fucking idea. I can see it being like something I can see like the government stepping in and this thing being gone in like 2 years. At the same time, like what I hear from stuff that I read and stuff that I watch on the internet.
All right, so ignore the outliers.
How? How do you ignore it? Because like the wide range of possibilities is, I could see it being zero. I could see it being like the way that you look at the trends of it is that like you see how it loses like 50% of its value in like a week or less, and then but it shoots up crazier. Like no one thought last year that it would go up to $20,000, but that's the thing, not predicting the future. This could be $50,000, but why? Why would it get to $50,000?
Because we want to be able to use that. So why does currency have any value?
I understand that. Like, I'm totally for that argument of it has more meaning, I feel like, than a dollar does at this point. Like, everyone that I talk to that doubts it, I'm just like, what do you pay with? Like, what do you use? So I use cash. Cash is king. That's the saying. Like, what is that backed by? It's not backed by anything anymore. So it's literally just an idea that they print out. They just make themselves, which, I mean, you're mining the Bitcoins and different cryptocurrencies, you're creating it, but it's got a digital representation just like the dollar does at this point. But like, why is it so easy to steal, like hack and steal these different cryptocurrencies, but say a hacker couldn't just, which I've heard of before happening, is hacking into a bank, stealing that dollar amount.
I mean, I think that happens all the time. And I mean, look at how many times like Amazon gets hacked and how many credit card numbers are stolen every day.
They had that with like Target. Like I remember it was a year or two ago. They had a bunch of credit cards stolen just by them.
But the answer to
swiping through.
The answer to that's not Bitcoin though. The answer to that's going to be the centralized applications to where we're not storing all of our information on these central servers, because as long as there's going to be 1 million credit card numbers stored somewhere, that's huge incentive for hackers to put tons of investment. But imagine if they had to spend hours hacking into your computer just to get your credit card numbers so they could maybe buy something at Target.
But how do you get to this point of decentralization when there's so many powers that be that are, in your head, like you feel that, especially in this day and age when more and more control is being implemented, that they aren't going to do something to fuck with it. Like, how is weed not already legal everywhere? There's, other than these ridiculous notions that we've had from the past 100 years that's just propaganda, the fact that it's vilified compared to the age-old argument of alcohol is way worse for you. How is that legal? And you make that illegal over just something like paper. Like the hemp production was the reason why it was originally vilified for an economic purpose. If you have all the banks and all the people that are working behind the banks, they have way more capital to get compared to the people that are investing in Bitcoin and different cryptocurrencies, that they can figure out some way to screw it up. Like, I feel like there's always an entity that's going against that, but at the same time, it feels like it's an ideal thing to do, to get it out of their hands, because they do screw up things so much. But then the idea of having just a democracy was kind of an ideal idea to begin with, but we've implemented that and made it work much better than anything else. So that's where I go from the other end of the spectrum. Like, I could see it being completely shut down. I could see it completely working, but maybe it just takes longer than what we think. Like, we want this whole thing to happen over the next 10 years, but it takes 100. That kind of thing, just because of the pushback from all the government and entities, all of the money where it's at.
I think the pushback thing, to me, and like the fear of government, involvement, is ludicrous, because the government is supposed to work for us. Last time I checked, this is democracy.
Ideally.
So it's like they're gonna fight back because they're puppets, and because the banks and stuff are paying them and lobbying them to do their bidding. But I mean, even a lot of them know. I mean, this technology is just, people that don't even understand it, they just hear about it, and there's just something electrifying about it. It's just like, yes,
yeah, definitely.
You don't understand why
this
know
is
this
the first
is a good
thing
thing.
I've ever actually. I had a stock my mom gave me, and I sold it just because I needed to pay for like the wedding that I have coming up later this year. But that was the first thing that I threw my own money at, from like my hard-earned money. I'm like, I didn't even wait. Like, I wish I waited until that couple weeks ago when there was that giant crash in cryptocurrencies. But my thought process was, I know if I throw money at it, I'll start paying attention to it. I'll get addicted to it. And just like the way I enjoy gambling, I'm not an addict by any means. Like, I do fantasy baseball, I bet here and there and stuff. But it draws your attention to it. It's something I check every day. Instead of being on my phone on Instagram, I'm researching companies and researching how to educate myself on this topic. Because it's not just like, oh, it's your future, it's your money, you should be. Like, it's kind of feels like how you were forced to do your homework when you put it that way. And the last thing you want to do is your homework, because you're told to do it. It's boring, blah, blah, blah. But once you have money invested in something, anytime you're gambling on anything, you do more research. At least if you're a smarter person, you tend to do research rather than just throw money in the air.
Yeah.
But how I started was exactly just throwing money at it with doing very, very minimal research.
And I think that's what a lot of people did. And I think that's why we're and I've read this elsewhere too, we're almost going to a second phase where like so many people heard about it, like saw the value going up, jumped at it, threw some money on,
got more attention.
A bunch of people who were already in, now we sold out, claim some of your profits. And then everyone's like, shit, now we just lost, we put all this money, why is it going down? Like, we thought this was the future. Now everyone's reading and learning and getting back into it. And now it's like that fire's catching back on.
It is. It's, and I know you're frustrated to see this, but everything goes up and down. But one of the first things you read about when you're trying to educate yourself on doing this stuff is you see just that like lizard brain mentality of, oh, it's going down. I feel like people are so risk averse to it. It's like everyone just looks at the right then and now. Like, if you just look at history, that was a history major, so it's like it always hits home for me. Think about stuff. Look to the past. Like, this stuff happens. Everything's cyclical. It all happens. Just because you see something drops drastically doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I should sell. If you're following what everybody does, you're gonna be I don't want to say a loser. You're always gonna be like an average person. You're not gonna get ahead in any way.
Yeah, if you're just reacting, you're always gonna be behind.
The best case scenario is you're gonna be average.
Yeah.
If you just do that, it's like, why don't you look like, if I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin, I'm like, oh shit, it was $20,000. It was always $20,000. It's like, no, it started out at a much lower point, and it can also, just because it dropped a bunch, doesn't mean it can never go back up to that $20,000 point or way beyond. Who knows? Like what your reaction would be if it goes back up to $50,000 later this year or 2 years down the road, and all those people that like you heard about it and you're like, I didn't invest in it, blah blah, I should have hit it then. But it's like you had multiple chances to do it. People are just so afraid if they see any major downtrend to do anything, period.
And and things are always going to go up and down. And there's predictable levels of which stocks and investments are going to go up and down, and it almost always hits those points. There's it's called the Fibonacci retracement. You got to go look it up and just like see, and then go look at some stocks, and then just take these tools and just take any high point and then like a low point that a stock dropped to, and then monitor the levels that it goes to in between that. And it always hits these certain points, and it follows the Fibonacci numbers, and it's crazy, and it's all based off like human psychology, because everyone's following the same things, and everyone's just reacting to what some other guy decides. Someone decides, I'm going to sell all my stock today, and then the price goes down, everyone starts freaking out and selling, and then it's like someone's like, oh, this is a good. There's another guy now sitting on the sideline with a bunch of money, like just been waiting for a price to go down, and then now it starts going in the other way. Yeah, and that's all it is. It's just people freaking out over it. You got to stay focused on the long-term goals.
It's almost too just zigging when everyone's zagging, that kind of deal. Especially when there's a freak out, like when you can tell emotions are involved. Do the exact opposite. I mean, it's easier for someone like me to say that I don't have a family or anything like that. Yeah, I have probably a much smaller portfolio than like a middle-class established guy or whatever. Who's got, God knows, he's got his whole retirement in there.
The average person is in credit card debt. So most people that are going to hear this have nothing invested at all.
I forget that a lot of times.
We think that there's some other, like our parents were like rich or something from growing up. But I mean, the average person was,
that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
Just baby boomers going through like the greatest economic age to like ever go through as a human being, period. Or, well, I could even say like the generation before that, how you could have a high school degree and still be able to afford a house, afford 2 cars, have 5 kids, and have a stay-at-home mom. There's only one person that's working their union job where they're getting, the equivalent of triple-figure salaries in this day and age for a much simpler job that nowadays I see gets like 40,000 maybe, 30,000. I mean, what's the average income? Like 30?
I think, in America, I think the average income is like 36.
That's like 2 people put together.
I think the household's higher. I think the household's like in the 50s.
50s? Yeah, that sounds more realistic.
Yeah, I think that we should probably look that up, huh?
Nah, I like talking out of my ass. It makes the conversation go better. And everyone said, even if you're speaking very logically and factual, there's always going to be a majority of the people that are just, they just like to point out stupid shit.
Yeah, so, I would say for the most part, like, Americans aren't invested. And I think that's what the beauty of, like, this cryptocurrency and, like, the Robin Hoods and all these other things is getting young people especially and getting them involved in this stuff.
I think that's a huge boost. Just, the way that Robin Hood's doing that, I think that's genius. It's so simple. It's almost like an idea that you have like the free sample. Yeah. Like you have that in the food court, like like the Chinese restaurant place in Willowbrook, how they always have a guy standing out there. Like I wouldn't even look at that place, but that General Tso's chicken was really. What's cool? I'll do it. And even if that works,
that chicken teriyaki guy always gets me at the
every fucking time.
That chicken teriyaki is good.
But that's the idea. Like this, I've been trying to convince Chris to do this for like 3 weeks now.
What's that?
To do the Robin Hood thing.
Oh. It's like, he still hasn't done it?
Yeah, he was like, I'm afraid. I'm like, it doesn't cost you anything. Literally nothing. You just deposit some money, but it's not like when you deposit that money, it's in the market, it could fluctuate. It's just there.
Fear is the ultimate limiting factor.
And that was the same thing for me. I felt like most of my life I've been very risk adverse when it came to investing. It wasn't until recently that I feel like I've wanted to do it. And I just enjoy it. I like it a lot. But it's why not? And it's like you're doing the same thing every day. Like it's adding like an excitement to your life to a degree. Like, what is excitement? It's like, oh, you're doing the same thing, knowing the same outcome you're going to get every day. Having risk that's what makes life more interesting.
And it's like the most important part of getting ahead. Like any book I read that's like talking about either business or personally, like becoming better or like more successful or whatever, helping other people, like, and also like all those fears that are entwined in your head, like 99.9% of the time, if you just go out and like see the world and experience things on your own, like it's not as bad as it ever makes it out to be. I'm listening to this book now, Enlightenment Now. I saw it was like recommended by Bill Gates on his Instagram, so I got it.
Yeah, you were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah. So I just started listening this morning, and they're talking about how if you go back and look at the man 5,000 years ago or whatever, and the things that he believed in, and everyone believed that if you went into the woods, like little trolls and evil animals and these creatures would kill you, and they were saying like a dead body would bleed out in front of its murderer, like all these other things that people just believed to be so true, and it's because they didn't know any better. They just know what people told them. And people talk about, you either talk about two things: what you're scared of or what you enjoy. But we're constantly blasted in today's age by the news. It's just fear. Fear.
That's why I can't watch I don't have cable anymore for a while.
No one should watch the TV.
Every time I go to my mom's house, guy. This is gonna be funny if she ever actually listens to this.
I'll get into my grandfather about Fox News. It's like,
I was just saying, non-stop Fox News, and it's like you don't like.
It's like a whole nother planet they live on.
She's not even working right now, so no. Like, that's every time I'm over. Fox News. Doesn't it feel like negativity, like nonstop? Even if it's not Fox News, if it's CNBC.
Yeah, I was about to say, we got to put a disclaimer. It's all the news networks.
It's just negative because it's a business. So they want the stuff that sells is what to keep people watching. So they watch their commercials, which a whole other thing. I don't deal with commercials anymore.
No,
like I have Netflix.
This is the way to go.
I do Kodi on the Fire Stick and whatnot. Which
be careful, bro.
I'm not just doing it. I got a bunch of Fire Sticks for my family and shit. I'm not making any money off it. I'm not the one running those servers, so whatever.
Yeah. Thank you to the guys who do that. You rock.
As soon as it gets taken off, like I know there's certain points where I'm using the Kodi or whatever, and it just doesn't work, and you're shit out of luck. That's kind of why I started a Netflix account. I'm like, all right, when Kodi's down, I'll use this thing, or when Kodi's just being really, really slow, I'll use this. And honestly, I watch less and less TV and movies as I'm getting older, I feel like, anyway.
Well, that's why that's like one of the other big things that like I really love about the decentralized application field is getting away from like the Netflix. Like I feel like we should just be kind of paying for like the time we watch stuff, and like the creators themselves, the money should just go directly to them.
There's too many other people making money on this stuff, especially
and they take the biggest portion. Like the hardest working artists, the guys that are actually creating this stuff are getting fractions for what? I mean, distribution is not hard, and that's why YouTube is so successful, because that's essentially what it is. You're allowing people to be able to publish stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess really we're just gonna have we're all eventually gonna be watching television on like a YouTube platform.
I mean, they have it now. They have like live channels and stuff, and they have I think live sports. Stuff like that they're going to do. I know Hulu's doing live sports now, but it just seems like the thing to do. And I hate the fact that Hulu. I like that they give you the option where if you pay like a little more a month, you don't have to deal with the commercials. Like I think it ruins entertainment. Like when you're watching
commercials,
it just breaks it up, and I just don't want to be annoyed by it. And I notice. I don't know products as much. I don't know movies as much because I don't see the trailers unless I hear word of mouth or if it's talked about on a podcast. That's it. When I was watching the Super Bowl, it was weird. They had it for free on streaming. Was it through the NBC app? And it was just weird.
That's what I watched it on too.
Yeah, and I was so taken aback by it. I'm like, oh, these sports are really funny. It's the Super Bowl. I know they spend more money on getting more entertaining ads and whatnot. But I was kind of annoyed by it at the same time. Like, even though football has a lot of breaks, it's like, I'd like someone to be just, like, talking about football or something having to do with it, like putting on a story of one of the players.
They do actual commercial breaks now in the game, don't they? I've been at the game, and it's like commercial break is, like, on the thing. Are you fucking serious?
I haven't
paused the actual game now?
I haven't been in years, but I remember they're all standing in the huddle. What the hell's taking so long? It's been, like, 5-10 minutes. Commercial break. That's why... Like, going to it sucks.
I
You have to
personally,
tailgate, and that's why you see like Bills fans slamming each other through tables and shit because they're going to be so bored at the game itself because their team always sucks for one. But like you have to get wasted before a game to not notice that there's a commercial break going on.
I don't know, man. I just and like the commercials are usually so bad too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I've never seen a commercial and like, damn, I'm definitely switching to Tide.
Even
like that shirt's super white. I'm switching to Tide.
No, I think
I use Gain because my mom used Gain and my grandmother uses Gain, and like I'm gonna use Gain for life. I'm sorry, it smells good. Until like I date a girl that uses something else and like switches me over. Gain's it.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never thought about Tide more than since this whole Tide Pod challenge thing started where people are fucking eating. And more than ever, like, because I had my one roommate used to get it and I was whatever, I don't care. Now it makes me want to buy it. Now it makes me want to like fuck with people and like pretend
It's
like you're gonna eat it, or even if they made, what would happen? I feel like just because everybody gets sued over everything. If I was like a baker or like a candy maker, I'd make that immediately.
You should make fake Tide Pod candies. Yeah, totally.
I feel like you'd be super. Oh, you're confusing children. But it's like if your children are eating that,
we should make those.
That's Darwinism right there. If you're eating a Tide Pod out of it, I know like even if they can't read, well, you should have had it on a higher shelf.
I have a confession to make.
Your child ate one?
No, I lied. I actually have Tide Pods at home right now because that's what they sell at Costco. But before I was shopping at Costco, I was buying Gain. But I actually put a Tide Pod in my mouth the other day just to see like what it tasted like. You know, no, dude. The second you put that plastic shit in your mouth, it instantly just tastes like complete shit.
I was hungry.
Like it's just so soapy.
It tastes like apple. Like
it's fucking delicious, bro. I ate like 5 of them.
I was like talking weird today.
Sitting there watching Stranger Things, just.
Would that be amazing though if it turned out that was like a hallucinogenic? See, that'd be the real thing if it actually got you.
People would be eating it left and right.
Yeah, but you see, was there ever any confirmed deaths on it?
I like to hope.
Here's where I finally started.
See, I like to think that it's not real and no one's actually eating Tide Pods.
That's what I was thinking though. What if
the flat Earth thing? I hope the flat Earth thing is just a big hoax.
What if it's Tide that came up with it to begin with?
That's
the market strategy. Just think about it. They're always trying to create viral videos that they're commercials and stuff like that. What if it's this shit? What if it's them being like, my child ate this, blah, 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 and just put it up like as an anonymous person on Reddit, this thing, people posting like just like as if they're eating it, not actually swallowing it, but eating it, or maybe like they take Epicac after and throw it up. So
that would be genius. If the Tide marketing team came up with
cost
Tide
you
Pod
nothing
challenge,
and you just did that, and I've never wanted until I started seeing this stuff.
I mean, viral marketing is a thing, and it's like no holds barred these days. It wouldn't be that shocking.
Yeah, like if let's see. I'm trying to look at stuff around here that you shouldn't eat, but everything I'm looking at is edible or drinkable.
Or not even considerably edible, like these wine corks here. But yeah, if you're talking about chemicals,
I'm trying to think
like some Drano.
Yeah, that we know kills you. So that's the thing. It's got to look like something that's candy.
Okay.
See, couldn't you just sue like candy in general? Like it's making stuff that doesn't look like real food to begin with. Because if you were like,
right, they're tricking me into eating this poison, which is sugar.
If you were Tide, if I was the person that's like if Tide was getting sued, I don't know. My defense would be like, man, that shit doesn't look like food. No food in the wild looks like that. If you saw that in the wild. Actually, I could see that being.
Yeah, I would totally eat some Tide Pods.
Yeah, if I saw that in the wild, because like at some point they were all trying berries out, and dying left and right for that. yeah. But that's what. But that goes back to the whole thing. It's Darwinism. It's learning. Like people that do that, like all right, those bad genes die off.
If I mean, this would sound really bad, but like, for instance, someone did die eating Tide Pods. Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. If they were doing it on a Tide Pod challenge.
They should.
Not like if a little kid got into a Tide Pod.
That's bad. All right.
But like if you're 17 years old and you're like, I'm going to eat these Tide Pods.
Here's the cutoff. If you can read, you have the comprehension to know not to eat that. It says it all over the box. Or like your parents should be like, don't eat this. Or keep it in a spot where they can't reach it. If you're at the age where you can't reach something above 4 feet, then okay, once you're above that, you should die.
Yeah, but that's
die.
easy to say. But I will tell you one thing: kids will surprise you with what they can get to. Because it's like one day they can't, and then the next day it's like they figure out they're humans, bro. They're smart, and they're assholes. They want to break all the rules. They're just like us, but
You're
they're
right.
small.
You're right. I haven't had a kid yet, so I don't even think about that.
Go ahead and tell the kid not to eat a Tide Pod. There's one thing he's going to want to do.
That's true. That's very true.
He's getting that Tide Pod in his mouth. I'm just kidding. But it does happen. You know, kids get into things. It's not always necessarily the parents' fault. But yeah, a lot of people need to be careful.
Yeah. Well, that's the gut thing. Like, sometimes, like, some parents will just say it. Oh, the kid, oh, my kid's an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. They do this stupid shit.
Yeah.
I would think that about any, like, if you did any kind of extreme sports or whatever, my kid's an idiot doing this, he's going to break every bone of his body, blah, blah, blah. But then I think it's a whole other thing when you're eating poison. Straight up poison. Like, what are you doing? Like, have
you watched the video of anyone eating these things?
Yeah.
Is it real? Like, they swallow it?
I don't remember now. I remember seeing someone eating it, and I was like, this is an idiot, and just switch it off. All right, well, actually, I just put has anyone. The first searches that come up is, has anyone ever died in the Olympics? Died doing the skeleton.
What the fuck is the skeleton? Is this like the new dab?
Died in space. Has anyone really been far? Has anyone died from... Wow, this is basically all stoner questions. Has anyone died doing the skeleton? What is the skeleton? Oh, this is some kind of athletic thing. Olympic skeleton rider in freak training accident.
That was all Olympic related.
Oh, okay.
I saw some meme. It was the kid... some kid just won the gold medals for the U.S. Olympic team, but he like showed up late, lost his jacket, like cursed.
I saw that. Yeah, but he was like, I think he was like in his teens or whatever.
Yeah.
He was really this is doing all these stereotypical American things that you did when you were that age, but you won a gold medal.
I don't know what a skeleton. So what is a skeleton? What is this?
I didn't really read that much. What is the skeleton?
I got like a skeleton dance.
We should move on from that.
Yeah.
It's a skeleton bobsled. So it just looks like a sleigh. So it's just one person going on it instead of a bobsled where it's like 4 people on it.
Solo bobsledding. I've seen that.
Great for podcasting. But I'm gonna show you the picture.
Nice.
It's like a sled.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone died? Who gives a shit? Oh wow! Look at that.
Those
That
probably
looks
go
scary as
super
hell.
fast. They probably go like 100 miles per hour on those things. That's like
Look at that.
it's like down.
Cool helmet. This guy's got like a panther.
It's
helmet.
like a downhill.
It's
what
like
are those things called?
street luge.
Street luge.
But you're like facing down.
Street luge on ice.
You're like 1 inch. Your chin's 1 inch above. I guess it's ice or really slick snow or whatever.
I feel like I'd rather lay that way on my stomach than lay on my back though if I was going down.
Why?
I don't know.
That feels way more dangerous. It sounds like more fun.
Yeah.
But it sounds all right.
And more in control.
First thing with a
more in control though, because you're like watching. Otherwise, you're like back. You're like looking over your feet.
No, but you're going to look over your feet though because you're going downhill.
I guess that's true. It's easier.
So you're automatically looking like. I guess. Actually, I feel like I'd be more uncomfortable having to be like this and constantly hitting your chest. I feel like you'd hit your chin a lot.
I don't know.
Your first wipeout is straight face. Like that's it. So
you got a helmet on, you know?
Yeah. What about your neck?
I don't know. I don't know. You see those guys wipe out. I mean, at least there you're on snow. The street luging thing. You get.
I didn't even see. Wait, look a little deeper into this helmet. This guy has now. This is quasi frimpong. Whatever. This guy, he's got a helmet where it looks like some kind of a big cat, maybe a tiger or something like that. But it's eating a rabbit. That's a very ornate helmet.
It's like in the mouth of the...
Yeah. Oh, there's another one underneath too. That is crazy.
It's pretty cool with the helmet.
Anyway, I want to talk about crickets. Because I didn't tell you, I was telling everyone at work about how we were talking about doing that video for cooking the crickets.
You told them about the crickets?
Yeah, I told them about it, and my new nickname at work from a bunch of the guys is Cricket Wireless. That is
Cricket Wireless?
That is the past couple of days is stuck pretty well. And I gotta say, it's not bad.
Well, I told you at my last job they were all making fun of me about the cricket farm thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I told them about this cricket thing, and I was convinced that cricket farming was a great idea. They let me have it for like 6 months over that.
I like that though. You know what? People need us in that kind of an office because it keeps things alive. Like, oh, because no one else is bringing that shit like that random kind of story. Everyone's just talking about like
same shit.
Especially when you're older, like you have like single people talking about like like girls they fuck shit like that or whatever. That's generally the conversation that like single guys are having. And then once like they're married and stuff, then it's like nothing. Oh, I would do the family, that kind of shit. Oh, what did you do? I was like, I was cooking crickets, and playing parm with them, and some hummus and whatnot, and just weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's different. I'm really excited to make that video, honestly.
I know. I'm pretty excited.
I don't know what it's going to taste like. Everything that says an almondy type.
It says it's supposed to be good.
There was a guy at my work, he's from Cote d'Ivoire, and he said that they had them. They had, like, in different street markets, they had crickets and a couple other things. Cote d'Ivoire, it's, I think it's an island. It's somewhere in Africa.
Okay.
I want to say Southeast Africa by Madagascar. I can look this up, but I don't care. They speak French, though. But he was saying, yeah, it's got, like, an almond taste. It's actually not bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that, like, in the eastern part of the world, like, eating bugs is pretty normal, isn't it? I mean,
The one stat I kept coming across was 80% of cultures eat insects. But that's also to say we don't necessarily have as many cultures here in the U.S., even though there's 300 million people. Like we have, like Northeast culture, the South, Midwest, West, Pacific, Northwest. Like it's just like a few where, like he was telling me in Cote d'Ivoire, they have like a ton of dialects, ton of different languages they speak. I know in South Africa they speak like 40 different languages. And
that's crazy.
A small little area, so you figure how many cultures are within that small area. So they were saying 80% of the world eat insects is like a main staple, like it's just a common thing. We're in the minority in the sense that we just think it's gross.
Yeah. I mean, we always, we think that America has such a huge like cultural impact on the world, at least that we see. But like there's all these billions of people.
That's not the cat.
That live in India and China that have like such different eating rituals and everything else that we do, and there's only 300 million of us here in America.
Yeah, like we're pretty open compared to like in India, how small. Because honestly, geographically, I wouldn't say how many are they bigger than us.
No, I'd say like China's probably the same size as America. And India's even smaller.
I feel like China's bigger than us, but like India's definitely
like,
way smaller.
If you
than
include
that.
like Alaska, and it depends,
Yeah,
Alaska's pretty big.
I don't know, but still. But getting back to it, like, everyone thought lobsters and crabs and shit weren't food. And when you think about it, they just kind of look like bugs that are in the ocean.
That's what they are. They're like ocean bugs.
Yeah, it's like a scorpion looks like a lobster just with a stinger.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's got the same looking claws. So
I mean, to me, it just makes sense. I think as humans, like, we need to find alternative sources to get all of our energy from to feed the world sustainably. And I think insects and crickets are like a great part, and it's like super healthy. You were saying they got like cricket protein powders and stuff.
Well, yeah, they've. I tried that. I've tried the.
Had that?
I tried the protein. It just tastes like any other protein bar because when you grind anything up into a powder, it's just like something that's a little different. You could tell, but that's like, it's how I'd relate it is when you say you had a candy bar or something where they just changed the sweetener to like an artificial sweetener. Like it was just that kind of a difference. Like, oh, I'm eating. Like, you know how they have those Reese's peanut butter cups, but then they have
butter ones.
But they'll have like that, or they'll be like, oh, this one has stevia instead of sugar, and like you'll notice that difference.
Yeah,
like, it's still chocolate and peanut butter, but it's not quite the same. Like that kind of a difference. That's what I feel like in that powder was like. Yeah. When we actually eat these crickets themselves, though,
we gotta get some live crickets too. We gotta get it right from the source. Yeah, that is.
I wanna research that first because I want to make sure that if we go down to the pet shop and buy those things, like, is that gonna?
What if we go hunt them down? You're gonna feed them to a lizard, but you don't
know. You don't know that thing. I don't got that kind of time. That's kind of ridiculous. We just go to the pet shop. I think it's like
we gotta get like $2
for like 3 dozen or something.
Fresh from the backyard.
Fresh from the backyard. Free range crickets.
You know, my friend Alex will probably tell me he'll know some places we can get some cave crickets.
Fuck those things.
Have you ever seen a cave cricket in real life?
No, fuck that.
They are like crazy, colorful, and big. And
there's like very few animals or insects that freak me out, and that's one of them. And what's the other ones that you see around here? They're not millipedes, but they have like the long legs. I can't remember the name. No, it's not a centipede. It's a specific thing because they're all around like this area. I remember growing up at my mom's house in Skyline.
Like they're long and have a lot of legs?
They're usually like, can be like anywhere from like an inch to like 2-3 inches.
Just like the water bugs?
No, they have 1 million legs.
Millipedes.
No,
But they're not millipedes.
they're not millipedes. They have a specific name. I've
I
had
don't
this
know.
discussion with someone before, but
Well, you want to eat some of those too?
no. I'm saying that's like one of the things that freaks me out.
Would that be like a fear factor thing for you?
I would not do it. No,
You wouldn't do it.
I would not do it. No, that's very few things that like really skeeve me out. Like the idea of when I saw the guy, I saw someone doing a tarantula, like preparing it and frying it up, and I'm like, oh, I'd try that. Like it's got in tempura flour and whatnot. It's fried. That looks. You put like a little smoked paprika, a little sea salt on it. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe I'd put like a little wasabi mayo on it. Like, that'd be delicious. It would just be like any fried. Like it would remind me of like calamari. Like when you get the ones with the tentacles on them. How much different is that?
Oh, I love those. Those are better.
And they're great.
Yeah.
But
Little
those
squid people.
those specific things, it's like the one bug, and my fiance can attest to this, that if I see it, I scream like a little bitch. It's the one thing. Like, I can see a giant spider or something like that, I have no problem. I'm not squeamish about that. But it's something about the way these things move, and I have this weird fear all the time, especially when I'm kind of tired or whatever. Like, I'll be sitting on the toilet, and I remember this Dave Matthews story he told on VH1 Storytellers, where he talks about sitting on the toilet and a cave cricket like jumped like in his butt or whatever, and like it freaked him out, blah, blah, blah. And all I could ever think about was like that one specific 1,000,000 leg bug thing doing the same thing when I'm sitting on the toilet. Like, I think once in a while, like, you know, like the back of the toilet will like make like a noise, or you'll feel like a vibration.
Is this a fear of yours?
Yeah,
Like you think about this.
I think most times I sit down on the toilet. Like, even if I'm at work and I'm just on my phone, like not even concentrating on that stuff, like it'll creep into my mind if I feel that vibration from something in the plumbing going on or whatever. Is that a leg? Is that one of those legs?
I think it's hilarious envisioning you being completely petrified of this little bug like crawling up and poking you in the butthole while you're pooping.
It's not like I'm afraid of it. I'm just so
The fact that it's even there in your head.
I'm grossed out by it. Like, if I never heard that story, I probably never would have thought of it.
Yeah.
It's probably just like a loose ass hair moving around that I have or something. But it's...
Shave your butt hairs.
Did this come in? What the hell is this thing?
That's like one of those airplanes, I think. Isn't it?
I think they ordered something like this and canceled it on Amazon. It's supposed to hold like pens.
No.
It was wider.
That's an airplane.
But still, where did this come from? Whatever, getting way off topic.
I'm super into dude.
But, alright, I was going to say, getting back to the topic, what should we be focusing on cooking with these crickets themselves?
Well, we gotta make cricket burgers.
Can we put up like some kind of a poll? So I think that's something I should post on Facebook or Instagram.
We need to do that first.
Before we do the video itself?
I guess, yeah, I mean, if you want, but didn't you, well, I don't know, are we making a surprise thing, or are we just like...
Well, you could put the vote up and not release the results.
Well, I think we can make it all. Like, we could, if we just make the meat, then we use the meat to make some burgers, use the meat to make some tacos.
Hummus. I think that hummus idea would actually turn out well.
I don't know why you want to put cricket as hummus, so, like, that, I don't put meat in hummus. You put meat in hummus?
No, I mean, you could, but it's like...
You're just using it instead of chickpeas? Is that what you're doing?
It would just be added to the recipe that I usually use. Like, I can make pretty good hummus on its own. I haven't done it.
You just want to make hummus and put some cricket in it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to make hummus, dude, do it.
Yeah, because I mean, you just use we got a whole pound.
Yeah.
Of roasted cricket. we got a lot of stuff that we can make. I'm thinking
some nice like chipotle mayo tacos and like a bacon burger.
It should look good.
And we're fucking set.
But all right. Like, how many of these are we just, like, putting on there so you see the full thing? Or are we just grinding it up and, like, putting it into it?
What do you mean?
Like, are we making it obvious? Like, if someone just walked in here and be like, oh, this burger smells really good.
I think we should make it look...
And you just give it to them and not say shit.
We'll make it the best we can.
I've talked about it too much with my roommates. Now they all know, like, not to try any food that I make now that's not, like, a whole piece of meat.
Yeah.
Because they just automatically think I'm just like, oh, BJ's making cookies again. I talked about that cricket shit. I don't know.
You have to slip it into something that they wouldn't, expect. Like have everyone over for meatloaf one day.
I think that
cricket loaf.
Yeah, but I don't invite people over for meatloaf and shit like that. So right there, that's kind of suspicious on its own.
Well, you see, you have a couple warm-up dinners.
But
People get their guard
right
down.
though. No one would expect crickets and meatloaf.
No one would expect
No one
that.
would expect that. If you just ground it up and then you just mush it all in with the meat.
With the meat.
I make good meatloaf.
Like a 20% meatloaf, cricket meatloaf. And shame on whoever didn't listen to this, and they're going to get
that's
cricket meatloaf. Don't tell anyone about the cricket loaf.
I forgot we were recording again. Yeah, this kind of releases it all. It kind of...
Well, it's alright. This comes out with the cricket video. We just got a cricket loaf quick.
Oh, yeah, I guess it all depends on when we actually release it.
We could just cut out the whole cricket loaf part if need be.
Nah, keep it.
You know, you never did like an opening. You never opened up about your personal life.
No one needs to know.
No, I mean like to the show. I don't know.
The show
You'd say
itself?
like, "Hi, this is Brian."
They don't need to know. That can be in the show notes. No, we were just talking about that before. Like, we hate that. Like, hi, this is Brian.
I know. I mean, as of right now, well, you know what I'll do is we can take the your BJ show song from.
I wanted to redo that.
We should redo one.
I was either I have to film GarageBand. Like, I was gonna use like the samples that they have because I created something for a video for.
All right, we done
class
with this.
No,
We're gonna keep going. Okay.
Maybe we should just cut it out here. Keep it short and sweet for now.
Yeah.
How long have we been?
It's been 40 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have over 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 40